in a Walmart bag.
Well, those bags are so thin, you can see right through it.
Munchkin Impossible. Anybody ever played Munchkin? Eric. The rest of you probably have no idea what this is. This is, I don't even know how to describe what this is. It's a game. Very bizarre, very funny game. There are different cards that tell you to do certain things, or you get certain points, or you lose certain points. And the idea is to get enough points to get to a certain level and win the game. And this one here, there's lots of different Munchkins. In fact, there is now a Munchkin Conan, for those of you who like Conan the Barbarian. And there is, this is Munchkin Impossible. You guys remember the TV show Mission Impossible? You guys might have no idea what Munchkin is, but if you're my generation or slightly older, you remember Mission Impossible, the TV show. People of Eric's generation remember those terrible Tom Cruise movies. I feel sorry for you. But those of us my age, we remember the TV show. My mom and dad used to watch that every Saturday night. Come in there and they'd give them the mission. And, you know, in how many seconds was it this tape will self-destruct? 3 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever. And they see the tape burn and they bring them the theme music. And then they go and do something that's impossible. Well, it was Mission Impossible. But they managed to pull it off. They always had problems. It always seemed like right at, the show started at 8 o'clock. At 8:30, it seemed like, oh no, they're going to fail. Everything's falling apart. Now by 9, it all came back together and they solved the entire thing. Solved all the world's problems in an hour.
That's like by 8:05 your dad had it figured out.
Probably at 8:05 my dad did have it all figured out. But it seemed to be impossible, but they managed to do it. In our lives sometimes there are things that seem to be impossible. Back in our lives sometimes there are situations that are impossible. There's nothing we can do about them. But the Bible tells us that with God nothing is impossible. He can do all things. In fact, the young virgin girl who gave birth to the very Son of God. Not impossible with God. 80-year-old women giving birth. Not impossible with God. I don't know what your situation may be. Some of you are facing health problems. Some of you are facing financial problems. Some of us simply are getting older. Those things that we used to be able to do, we can't do anymore. Yesterday, there at the mall, I got down in the floor there, putting things together. It was much harder getting up than it was getting down. My knees just don't do what they used to do 10 years ago or 20 years ago. But there's nothing impossible with God. God will be able to do whatever it is God has promised to do. If you want to know what God promised to do, it's not in here. You know what God promised to do, it's, I'll use this one. It's in here. God's promises to us. You need to know what's here. And recognize that whatever it is you're facing in life, God cares about you. Amen. And God is going to meet the need in your life. And He might not do what you want. And certainly there's going to be those times when it feels like 8:30. Everything is falling apart. None of it's going to work. But in the end, it's all going to come out exactly as God intends for it to be. Maybe not the way you want, but perfectly. See, God does not meet our wants. God does not operate on our time schedule. God does what God will do. But there's nothing impossible for Him. Think about that. If you played Munchkin Impossible, think about that.